something that we actually do have to talk about, and we're going to hear from head coach Wes Unseld Jr. right now about the 3 position, who gets to start and why.
Well, bottom line, I want it to be competitive, and obviously you want guys to compete the right way, which they will. But I want them to push each other, and it's each one of those guys in their own right. You could argue has a stake in that position as a starter. Some have already played that position as starters, so it's not necessarily what's good for them. It's like what gives us the best balance. Starting group, second lineup. So there's not a ton of drop off when that second group comes in. It can kind of maintain, hold our footing.
All right, so here we go. Ladies and gentlemen at home, I know you've been waiting for this discussion, so let's go ahead and get into it. Stick, you and I are going to play a little bit of tennis here. I'm going to give you yes or no, and you're going to have to tell me why.
Okay.
Rui's my starting 3, yes or no, and why?
No, I do not want Rui as the starting 3 because he doesn't provide that defensive output. Yes, he's an offensive-minded player. However, if you want to put him in there with Brad, Kuz, and Porzingis and say, hey, you're going to try and score with those guys out there, that doesn't really fit that well. That's why I don't like Rui as a starter.
All right, let's go. Door number 2, Deni Avdija. Now, I'll tell you right now, he's aggressive, and he wants that starting 3. He's been getting it so far this season. But same question, Deni Avdija, yes or no starting 3?
Yes. Here's why. I love Deni playing defense. He does a great job. You don't need any plays run for him. He makes sure to go out there and give you good defense guarding the best player out there. That's why I like to see him in that starting role, because with Rui, he's more offensive-minded. With Will, he's more offensive-minded. You want defense out there. And then when you bring Rui and Will off the bench, they can go out there and get their score on. Putting Brad on the bench, maybe putting Porzingis on the bench. Have those 2 guys make up for the scoring that you put on the bench.
All right, now you mentioned your case for Deni that was mildly anti-Will for logical reasons because you think in the second lineup. But make a case for Will Barton starting at the 3 because he's a walking bucket.
He is a walking bucket.
How do you deny that?
Especially if you get a rebound and he gets it in transition.
He's ready to go.
Pushing it. He can score.
That's my dude.
He has the ability to go out there and do things that not many other guys on the team can do. And he has no bashfulness whatsoever. If he sees an opportunity, a driving lane, an open shot for an opportunity to take a big-time shot on a 3 in transition, he's going to take it, and he's going to make it more often than not. That's why we went out and got him from the Nuggets, because we needed that scoring on the bench.
True.
This is a guy that will provide that consistently night in and night out.
All right, so now you said that your vote is for Deni. I'm cool with that. So now make the case for me how he can stay in that starting lineup consistently, because we've talked about this. There's particular matchups you might have to put a Rui in there.
Yes.
You might have to do well. Why does Deni get that start consistently?
Well, Deni gets that start consistently if he can go out there and consistently guard the best person on the other team. If he's going to have foul trouble and he's going to get us into the penalty early on in the first half and penalty in the second half, then you might want to take a consideration of going with Rui or possibly Will Barton. But at the time being, the first couple games, he's doing great offensive output, but he's doing great defense. He's playing without his hands. He's keeping his hands out of the cookie jar. He's not allowing easy shot opportunities for the other team's best player. And that's what you want to see if you're Deni. You don't need any plays run for you. You can cut. You can have. There's so much attention on Brad, Kuzma, and Porzingis on the offense. If you can find an open cutting lane or take your drives whenever they're wide open, or knock down an open 3 if you're in the corner, that's where you want to see Deni have a very, very good opportunity to play in that starting lineup.
All right, so now I'm going to switch this up on you. You
Okay.
didn't see this coming. See, we talked about starting the game. But as you well know, Coach has shown that just because you start the show doesn't mean you're closing the show.
Yep.
So now who do you want to close
See,
the
now
show?
we have seen Will Barton close the show, and here's why. He gives you that offensive output. He's not afraid of the big moments. He's making sure that he's going out there doing the right things. You don't necessarily need him on the defensive end, but guess what? Tonight, when it mattered, Donovan Mitchell was coming off a double pin on the top of the key.
Talk about it.
He goes out there, he does an aggressive switch. Donovan Mitchell didn't know what to do. He's like, wait, why are you doing this? He tried to turn the corner. Will pokes the ball away, gets a layup in transition. Those are the things. He's a big-time veteran player. He's smart. He knows how to play the game. Not necessarily just on the offensive end, but when it's big-time moments. That's why you like Will Barton to finish the games for you.
That's why they call him The Thrill.
Yes.
That's why he's got 2 albums, and they're actually bumping too. You might want to check them out. A little shameless plug. Hey, you make good music, I will talk about you. It is what it is.